Hi everyone, my name is Care, aka the Self-Care Nurse. I wanted to make a video on my skin journey and what it really took to get me from where I was, which was really inflamed, cystic hormonal acne, to where I am now. Skin is nowhere near perfect. I think we need to start letting go of that thought that our skin has to be perfect all the time. I will zoom in to show you I break out like everyone else. I have scars. I have many flaws, and that's okay. Our skin is never going to be perfect. We can still improve it and find confidence in our skin. Let's get started with my skin story, and let's go back to little baby Care. I think it was around 5th or 6th grade for me when I started experiencing acne for the first time. I was pretty young, and I remember being really frustrated because some of my friends had a little bit of acne, but mine was nothing like theirs. My acne was from the get-go really inflamed, really intense. I would get the deep cystic acne spots that were really warm, really annoying and painful, and would leave behind scars. I started seeing many dermatologists from a young age to try to treat and get a hold of my acne. And alongside of that, I kind of became obsessed with trying to figure out what I could do. I would go to the dermatologist and they would start me on antibiotics or different creams, different types of acne medications. I became obsessed with trying everything. I would save up, go to the drugstore, and I was trying all the different things: the Neutrogena grapefruit cleanser, the Clean and Clear, the Oxy pads, everything. And I would try something new every single week, and also go on Pinterest and scroll. And I was so desperate. I remember making this apple cider vinegar sugar concoction that I would put on my skin at night, and I would keep it in a Tupperware thing in my bathroom. Hopefully we're over the Pinterest DIY phase, hopefully. Yeah, that was a little bit of me, and it was so hard, but I am grateful from that young age. It really got me obsessed into learning about the skin. So all throughout high school and middle school, I still really struggled with my skin, but things got a little bit better. I learned the basics of skincare and just washing your face at night. Definitely wasn't wearing sunscreen in the morning because I wanted to be as tan as possible. Another thing I wouldn't recommend. Eventually graduated high school and moved on to college. Moved in the middle of nowhere, freezing cold little mountain town in Idaho to go to college because I had a really good nursing school there. And my skin just hit the lowest of lows. I think all the dehydration of the climate and that huge change played a big part, but my cystic acne was really intense. I was getting a new cyst every single day, and I also had a lot of anxiety with my skin. My mental health really began to control my life. I wouldn't want to leave the house. I wasn't wanting to leave or do anything with my friends. If I did leave the house, I had to completely cake my face with makeup. I was incredibly nervous and self-conscious about other people noticing and seeing my acne. Everyone with acne knows how hard that is. Another thing that kind of went beside this was my anxiety would manifest as picking my skin sometimes, and that's something I still struggle with to this day actually. When I'm anxious, I tend to pick at my skin. Most of us know picking at our skin is not going to make the acne better, especially with my deep underground cysts that I would get. I don't even want to tell you what I would do, but I was so desperate to get rid of the cyst whenever it popped up. Maybe you've had a cyst before, maybe you haven't, but they are really uncomfortable, painful, warm. It's like I could not stop thinking about it ever. So I would do whatever I could to get rid of it, meaning I would use needles. I picked and scraped and popped and I would bring those cystic spots to the surface. I'm not proud of that, and because of that, my scars got worse. Another huge thing that was happening during this time, that kind of coincides with my mental health, I had an eating disorder as well. And you can probably figure out right by now, the type of acne that I was experiencing was intensely hormonal. My eating disorder was definitely not supporting my hormones in our diet and how we treat our body. I'd say 90% affects the harmony of our hormones and how that presents in our skin. So that was definitely not helping things. So many different things playing a part here. I think finally the thing that really made me get serious was my scarring, even more so than my acne, because my acne would come and go. Not, it definitely came every single day, but the scars could remain forever. And I had some of the really deep boxcar scars as well as the ice pick scars that left holes in the skin. I think that was the main thing, knowing that my scars could potentially stay on my skin forever and I was going to keep getting more and more and more. Thinking about the longevity of my skin and its healing process, I think that's what really started me to get serious and get down to business on really treating my skin on a deep level. I had to look at the things I didn't really want to look at. I had to look at my diet, I had to look at my eating disorder and my stress levels and all of the things that were really affecting my skin. So the journey began. I went to see my dermatologist. At this point, this was a new dermatologist in my college town. I had grown up, like I said, trying every different acne medication under the sun. Nothing had really helped for me. A lot of them I didn't have great experiences with, so I was a little bit wary. One thing I hadn't tried was Accutane. I had a little sister who had been on Accutane and it went really well for her, but something was just holding me back. It just sounded really scary and intense. I'm telling you, if you can find a dermatologist that you trust, it makes all the difference. It really did for me. Even though I've loved my previous dermatologist, I had never felt like they really took the time to sit me down and get to the bottom, get to the root causes of my acne. And this is what this dermatologist did for me. We formed a great relationship. At this point, I was just starting nursing school and I had this dream and this mantra growing up. I would see all these amazing dermatology nurses and I just told myself, like, one day I would be able to help others do the same. Sorry, I did not expect I'd get emotional. That happens to me a lot. I'm fine until I start talking about things and then I start to cry. Working with that dermatologist, we made the decision for me to start Accutane. I was really nervous, I'm not gonna lie, but like I said previously, I was like, okay, I can't mess around anymore. I need to see real results. I had tried everything except Accutane. He helped me understand everything that Accutane entails, I think, which is the biggest scary part, knowing that I had him to help me through the process just gave me so much more confidence. Accutane is rough. If you've been on Accutane, you know, and Accutane can work differently for everyone. But I will say it is one of the best decisions that I made. I never have those cystic inflamed acne spots that I used to in the past. So it was so worth it for me. Another thing that made it worth it, like I said, was just working with this dermatologist. He has treated many patients with Accutane in the past and great results by using his own Accutane philosophy, which is starting on a very low dosage of Accutane, very, very slowly and steadily increasing over time. I obviously had the really dry lips, my skin purged in the beginning and peeled, which wasn't fun. My skin was pretty dry. I would get nosebleeds in the morning. It was rough, but definitely still manageable. And before I knew it, the 6 months were over. Now, during this time that I was on Accutane, I started looking into all of the things that I was putting off, like my eating, like my hormones, the medications I was on, all these supplements and prescriptions I was using, my gut health, all those things that I had been extremely neglecting. It's interesting because I feel like I have always been a really healthy person. My parents really tried hard to give us the healthiest food as possible, and especially in high school, I was eating really healthy foods. But with my eating disorder, I had a lot of restrictive behaviors when it came to food. So I would restrict and then I would binge because I would restrict so severely. So my body was in a state of crisis, feeling like it was starving all the time. It was not getting the nourishment it needed. My hormones were completely out of whack. My periods were so abnormal. Sometimes I would get it every 2 months. Sometimes I would get it every month. My skin was being totally revamped from the harsh isotretinoin drug, and at the same time, I was doing the inner work, doing all the things that are probably the hardest, but also the most important, because hormonal acne is stemming from that root internal course, our hormones. I was able to really work on that, and it was a process. It definitely took me a long time to find what worked for me. I started to notice little trends that were happening with my body, my lifestyle, diet, health changes. So I was able to start doing that and started feeling different, started feeling better. Thankfully, after I was done with Accutane, my cystic acne breakouts were gone. And I have never had an intense acne breakout since then. So I definitely accredit Accutane to that. But I had to also get really serious about what I was putting on my skin and actually learning about the skincare element of things. So during this time, I was on Accutane and working with my dermatologist. I started working and helping alongside in his office. He knew I wanted to be a dermatology nurse. I was in nursing school, just starting out, and that was my dream, like I said, to become that. So I started just researching everything I could, watching seminars from aesthetic professionals and estheticians, really learning about medical grade skincare and what the difference really is between medical grade skincare and drugstore skincare. That is kind of a controversial topic. Some people don't believe that medical grade skincare is a thing. Some people will just say, oh, medical grade is just a marketing term. Totally know what you mean. But I do believe in medical grade skincare, and I think every skin professional will tell you the same. Certain products are just formulated with the highest quality of ingredients and formulations. They are results driven, which means they have evidence-based studies to show results from skin conditions. So I started doing just that. I started slowly investing over time in medical grade skincare and learning about actives, learning all the important steps like wearing sunscreen every day, cleansing and really actually cleansing and preventing your skin from becoming dehydrated, etc. Thankfully got through nursing school, and after that became a dermatology nurse as soon as I could. At this point, I would say towards the end of college and towards the end of nursing school, I had found real harmony in my skin. I still had a lot of self-confidence and health issues to work through, but I felt like I had the education to do so, which I think is the biggest thing. When we educate ourselves, I think we at the same time empower ourselves, and that confidence just really made all the difference. Really took care of my mental health, at least started to. Took those little steps that actually build up. Sometimes the skin journey can get a little bit blurry for me because that's how skin journeys are. Sometimes it's kind of like not one steady thing, it's up and down until you find what works for you. I truly think that anyone can get the skin that they achieve and that they dream for. I did, and I'm so happy now I get to help so many of you. Thanks so much for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions or need any help with your skin. I have so much free education and info. Thanks so much for watching. I love y'all. Have an amazing day.